Video Plays here, I'm back at it again with another awesome video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the MCU and why it's been struggling. Now, the first thing I want to mostly point out, I'm not just talking about the movies themselves, but the whole MCU universe as a whole. First, we can talk about why the MCU universe is struggling, how it's reflected in their movies, and then talk about the movies themselves. For starters, the MCU really emphasized serialized storytelling. You know, like TV show storytelling, where it's like stretched into like multiple shows. In the MCU, it was characters developing over continuous movies. You didn't you didn't think that that the Winter Soldier was like Captain America's last movie. You knew this was a chapter in a much bigger story. Each movie had its purpose in the MCU. Thor: The Dark World introduced one of Thor: The Dark World introduced one of the Infinity Stones. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. The first 5 MCU movies set up the main heroes, and as well as introducing Infinity Stones along the way to line up to the big finale. But if you look at the multiverse saga, they don't set up anything. There's no real serialized storytelling here. They're all really self-contained. So reason number one, the MCU is struggling. No serialized storytelling because they don't really do that anymore. Most of the projects they do have nowadays are self-contained movies. But in a way, if it did have serialized storytelling, it made the multiverse saga does. But the promises aren't kept, like in Iron Man 2. In every single MCU movie, you had to stay till the end credits, because that's where it sets up something nice. In Iron Man 2, in the end credits, you saw Thor's hammer. The next movie was Thor. And the Avengers and Age of Ultron just showed Thanos. Thanos was the big bad of this entire saga. Even bad movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel led to Endgame. Again, that falls into the serialized storytelling part. But do you remember anything in the multiverse saga that was serialized storytelling? Didn't think so. Reason number two, the MCU is struggling: promises aren't kept. But even then, let's say they did have, and not only that, most of the movies are dead ends. Black Widow was a character that already died, so that's a dead end. Shang-Chi came out like 4 years ago. Will we ever see him again? A dead end. Eternals. Rules. We're not getting Eternals. I don't think anybody's getting Eternals anymore. I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home, even though it doesn't really show up on Disney Plus, but anyway, you know Disney, but Spider-Man No Way Home, while a great movie, Spider-Man No Way Home was the most profitable movie of this multiverse after Endgame, but it's another dead end. We haven't seen these characters in both Doctor Strange and Thor in a while, so in a way, these movies are dead ends. The biggest dead end was Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3. Even though it was a good movie, it's another dead end. Quantumania, in a way, Quantumania was also a dead end because it was supposed to set up Kang, the main villain of the saga, but he got cut. So in a way, that was a dead end. This movie meant more to the MCU franchise than Guardians of the Galaxy 3 did. It felt like, and yet this movie had twice as much passion put into it. Actually, it had like 100% passion, while Ant-Man Quantumania didn't really have that passion, any passion at all. Again, Deadpool Wolverine. This feels like a dead end. So reason number 3, the MCU is struggling. Too many dead ends. And number 4 is pretty obvious. The reliance on Disney Plus. They just decided to cram out shows like it's no tomorrow. In Phase 4 alone, they made like 7 shows. In Phase 5, I'm pretty sure they made like 5. About 4. Coming up with like the 5th one after like Ironheart, after Thunderbolts. There's just, and the problem is these shows tie directly into the Marvel. Some of these shows tie directly into the Marvel universe, and viewers hate pre-required viewing. That's what the problem. And number 5, the most obvious of all, the reliance on number 4, reliance on Disney Plus, and this number 5 is also reliance, but on something completely different. Nostalgia. Spider-Man No Way Home relied, but the worst part is their nostalgia isn't exactly for their movies exactly. No Way Home relied on nostalgia. No Way Home. Sorry, bathroom. No Way Home relied on nostalgia for like the Sony Spider-Man movies. Multiverse of Madness relied on like the X-Men movie, nostalgia for the X-Men movies. And Deadpool Wolverine relied also on nostalgia for characters. Like some characters, like Wesley Snipes' Blade. So number 5, too much reliance on nostalgia. These are the 5 main things hurting the MCU universe. Not really the movies, but the whole MCU universe as a whole. If these 5 things aren't checked in a bit, I believe the 3rd saga might have the worst MCU movies ever. It's either, which I believe is either going to be called the Mutant Saga or the Supernatural Saga. And then we have. But how are these things being reflected in the projects of recent Marvel? Take Spider-Man No Way Home as an example. Sure, it's a good movie, but it has some of the problems that but it has like clearly at least 2 problems with the whole MCU universe at the moment. The most obvious one being too much reliance on nostalgia, and again, it's a dead end. And if you want to point out on top of that, there's no real serialized storytelling, I guess. Because it felt like a dead end. Again, and the thing is, a lot of TV shows feel that way, from Marvel feel this way. Hawkeye has no real serialized storytelling, and I think it is currently a dead end. Again, with Moon Knight, it's a dead end. And there's no real serialized storytelling. actually it's a TV show, so it actually abides by serialized storytelling. But I'm talking about the whole like MCU universe as a whole, not just the show itself. And again, Multiverse of Madness, Multiverse of Madness, and Thor: Love and Thunder are examples of no serialized storytelling, and promises aren't being kept. And the Marvel TV shows in general just are all examples of the reliance on Disney Plus. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is a good movie, but it also has the problem, a big MCU problem of being a dead end. These issues affect the movies as a whole. All of these movies, even if they're good, because these even good movies hurt the MCU nowadays. I think it's time we talk about the shows and movies by themselves. WandaVision was just mediocre. Same with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Logan got pretty popular, but to my family, it's again mediocre. Black Widow was just underwhelming. You can tell because the storytelling for most recent MCU projects has been kind of not there. Actually, it's been garbage. What am I talking about? And again, each story people don't exactly like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Some people like WandaVision. A lot of people like Loki, but they have their like several bits of bad storytelling. And in their first movie, Black Widow of the Multiverse Saga, and we're keeping in mind movies after the Infinity Saga, so Spider-Man Far From Home doesn't go on here. Black Widow was just underwhelming, and it's just a movie based on a dead character. I mean, I think it was used to set up Elena, but no one really. We haven't got a lot of her besides in the Hawkeye show, and now in Thunderbolts, which I'm going to see with my friends on Friday. The main, again, what Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. I mean, that's a good movie. Eternals is garbage. What If? It doesn't really matter. Hawkeye was a good show. No Way Home, incredible. A lot of people's favorite MCU movie in Phase 4. And that movie made a shit ton of money. Okay, it's good. Moon Knight, I felt, is pretty good. A lot of people feel that way too. Multiverse of Madness was just one of the most disappointing MCU movies ever. It's Marvel. No one really likes that. Thor: Love and Thunder. Well, Thor: the Dark World isn't the worst Thor movie anymore. This movie just ruined Thor. It was way too silly. She-Hulk, don't get me started on that. Wakanda Forever, it's an okay movie. Ant-Man Quantumania. This movie was supposed to set up Kang, but it did not. It wasn't. But he did such a bad job of Kang. It's just underwhelming in this film, and Highlander was much better. It's just that the movie Guardians of the Galaxy Ant-Man Quantumania was much more important to the MCU than Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is, but yet Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is like a million times better. The main issue and storytelling in this movie was Phase 5 was really just down and up constantly. Down, up. Down, up. And in a way, Brave New World was also a bit of a down, but and their TV shows are just not good, not that special. I mean, Daredevil's good, but the rest of them are just forgettable. Again, Ant-Man Quantumania is bad, good. I mean, Ant-Man Quantumania is mid. The Marvel is just straight up bad. No one cares about this movie. Deadpool Wolverine, freaking awesome. Probably my favorite movie of Phase 5. which is a movie that has jack fuck all to do with the actual MCU. But whatever at this point. And Brave New World, I thought it was a good movie, but it's probably the most. It is, but it's the worst Captain America movie. That's the problem. Thunderbolts is said to be pretty good, but I have yet to see it, so I'll have to wait and see. And honestly, one of my least Daredevil's these MCU shows just aren't it either. Secret Invasion, no one likes that. Echo, a lot of people consider it one of the worst. I thought all along mediocre. And I heard Daredevil was really pretty good, but I'm currently watching. I'm currently finishing up Phase 2 of the MCU, so that's kind of a wait. In terms of why the MCU is struggling, it's because of the five main problems of the current MCU, like of no serialized storytelling, promises aren't kept, too many dead ends, reliance on Disney Plus, and too much reliance on nostalgia, how it's reflected in their movies, and just the movies not being all there anymore. The movie's just taking a huge dip. Most movies just taking a huge dip in writing quality. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I like to thank you for watching this video. Make subscribe, comment, like, notification bells to my future videos. Without further ado, bye bye.